Some years back, there was this lesbian couple, and she is a famous YouTuber. Her name is Amber, and her show is called Amber's Closet. She was dating a young lady whose name was Kiera, and they broke up some years ago now. But Kiera has her own YouTube channel as well, and she had faced a lot of backlash from the lesbian community because she is now married to a man, and I believe they have a couple of children. Beautiful couple. I actually liked when Amber and Kiera were a lesbian couple, but I understand life happens, you move on. And so when Kiera announced that initially she kept it private. She said she is no longer single, she's dating someone, but she never revealed who the person was, and that's completely fine. That's her business. But people started assuming that since she wouldn't name the sex or gender of the person, that she was dating a man. And it turns out they were correct. She finally revealed that she was engaged to a man, and they're married now, and they have a couple of children. And she's very happy with who she is. But her relationship is not monogamous. She actually is also with a woman. So she's in a polyamorous relationship, because she had announced on her channel that she told her husband that she misses being with a woman and that she needed a woman. And so they actually went on to proceed with finding a woman that was fit for their relationship. So I haven't watched her show recently, referring to Kiera, but I did used to watch her show because it was a good show. I was watching her show even before she was involved with this man. But at the time I was watching, it was 3 people in their relationship now. So Kiera, her husband, and another lady. So they seem to be happy about their situation. Now, her husband did admit that it was a bit of an adjustment, because I think he was completely happy with just being with Kiera. But because Kiera came to him and let him know, I miss being with a woman, he agreed to bringing a woman in their relationship because that's what Kiera desired. So they are in a polyamorous relationship. At the time, she was dealing with a lot of people who watched her channel or whatnot, basically insulting her or attacking her because she's in this relationship with a man, for one, and now she wants to add a woman into the relationship. So it was pretty complex, but I thought it was interesting. And the main issue, the people, when I say the people, the viewers, because she is a popular person, because she used to date Amber years ago. And when they broke up, she remained single. Kiera remained single. And Kiera identified as a lesbian. Amber identifies as a lesbian. Kiera said she is a lesbian. But the reason why she's faced so much backlash is because now she's married to a man. But here's the situation. Yes, Kiera is married to a man, but Kiera was very honest with her audience. She really did not have to reveal anything about her private personal life, but she chooses to do so, and she does that on her YouTube channel, and that's her prerogative. But I don't agree with her being attacked by her viewers or her supporters. Now, everybody is not against her relationship. I am one of them. I don't have anything against Kiera or her relationship. And I want to address how people tend to like to view all lesbians as being temporary lesbians or going through a phase, or they outright say lesbians do sleep with men. I want to address this topic, and I was just using the example of Amber and Kiera, who were a lesbian couple. They are no longer together. Kiera is a married woman, and she now has a polyamorous relationship. At least the last time I viewed her content, she was in a polyamorous relationship. She wanted a woman to be in their relationship because she asked her husband, can we invite a woman in our relationship because I miss women? Now, Kiera was very honest with her audience, and here's why. Kiera said she really believed she was a lesbian. She said, I've been a lesbian all my life, but I am no longer a lesbian. I am bisexual. That's Kiera's words. She said, I am bisexual. And I respect Kiera for her honesty, because what happens is people think that a woman who says she is a lesbian, but she actually dates or has sexual relations with men, or she even marries a man, they say that she is a lesbian, but she likes men as well. That is not accurate. A lesbian does not desire to be with a man romantically and or sexually. That is an oxymoron. A lesbian is a female homosexual. And Kiera, for example, knows this. That's why she said, yes, I used to identify as lesbian, but I am bisexual. Another person who made that profession some years back was, she used to date Kanye West, and she was a former dancer, and I can't remember her name right now. It'll probably come to me. But she identified as a lesbian, but she no longer says she's a lesbian. She now says, I am bisexual, because she now is involved with men. So these women, although they identified as lesbian, they no longer profess to be lesbian. They are saying they are bisexual, which is accurate. And it never fails when I do a video about lesbians not being attracted to men romantically and or sexually. I always get somebody who leaves a comment who disagrees with what I'm saying. I did a video yesterday titled, Men Are Not Sleeping with Lesbian Studs. And I had some commenters, and their comments were removed, because when you make statements that are not accurate or true, and they go against the true nature of a lesbian, I don't allow that ignorance and foolery to be entertained on my YouTube channel in the comment section. And I've been getting people who will say statements like, lesbians do sleep with men. And so that's why I titled this video, addressing people who say lesbians do sleep with men, end quote. I am Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. I do provide my lesbian perspective here on my YouTube channel. And if that interests you, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Lesbians do sleep with men. Okay, let me address that statement. There are lesbians who have slept with men. Absolutely. I've never denied that. If you are an avid listener and viewer of my YouTube channel, or just seeing my content on social media, you would know that I address that lesbians have had experience being with men. And the reason why is because we live in a heteronormative society. Women are often not allowed to express themselves emotionally, mentally, physically, and sexually as they would really desire to. And the reason why is because we live in a very male-dominated, toxic, sexist, and homophobic society. Men judge women very harshly when it comes to their sexuality. Regardless of your sexual orientation, if you're heterosexual, bisexual, or homosexual, and you are a woman, you will be judged by a man. And I will say this as well. Another reason why I delete these comments is because some of these commenters are males posing as women. I'll repeat, a lot of these commenters are actual males posing as women. They're pretending like they're lesbians and making comments about, oh yes, I'm a lesbian and I sleep with men all the time. I just enjoy it. I think men are better than women. You may not even see these comments. You don't even have the time to see these comments because I get rid of them that quick. I do not allow that ignorance to be entertained. You will get blocked. And some of these commenters are so just ridiculous. They'll have a male username and they'll say that they're a lesbian. Now, I've even seen some have a picture of a male and it's like they're saying they're a lesbian. It's like, can you really try at least to pretend a little bit better that you are who you say you are? It's really ridiculous. So that's what I mean by there's a lot of posers out here. There's a lot of pretenders, a lot of fakers, and you just have to kind of know and read between the lines on what you're dealing with. But I absolutely do not condone lesbian erasure. And it comes from men and women, because we live in a very heteronormative, homophobic society. Women are not allowed to be themselves if it does not fit the standard of how a heteronormative society approves of them. In other words, you have to be the traditional heterosexual female. But lesbians are not heterosexual women. And also lesbians are not bisexual women. And let me tell you that when I say they, I mean whoever. It could be a male or a female who operates under this heteronormative and patriarchal society. They even discriminate against fluid women who are bisexual, for example. And the reason why is recently I learned in statistics that you are not able to get even accurate statistics of how many women identify as bisexual globally, because the numbers are skewed because they're including bisexual women in the same percentage as heterosexual women. And that's discrimination, because there are actually legit bisexual women and they should not be put in the same category as heterosexual women. So this screams that the world wants all women to be heterosexual. And that is biphobia, and it's also homophobia. So when people are adamant that lesbians do sleep with men, I will say yes, they have experienced sleeping with men before because they've been pressured to conform to a heteronormative standard. And there are some lesbians who actually experiment. People can experiment if they choose to. You are your own person. You can do whatever you want to do. I do not judge women about who they choose to sleep with or not. That is up to their discretion. But just because a lesbian woman has experienced being with a man sexually does not refute the fact that she's still a lesbian. Lesbians are lesbians because of their sexual orientation. And it's more complicated and complex than just about sleeping with someone. You are emotionally, mentally, and spiritually and sexually connected to the same sex as a lesbian. And that's why you are a lesbian. Anybody can literally go out and sleep with whoever they want to. Anybody can do that. People do it all the time. That does not mean that they are not who they say they are. But one thing lesbians won't do is they won't go around announcing to the world that I sleep with men and I like sleeping with men better than I like sleeping with women. I like being in a relationship with a man more than I do like being with a woman. Says no lesbian ever. But yet I have people professing that lesbians do this all the time. Lesbians are female homosexuals. Homosexual people are not attracted to the opposite sex romantically and or sexually. You may have slept with a lesbian before. That's very possible. But to make it out as if lesbians are chasing after men to bed them is absolutely asinine. They make it out as if lesbians are desperate for men, that lesbians really want to be with men, but they just can't get a man. Oh, probably because she's not pretty enough. Or she's been hurt by so many men that she's not sure if a man will ever really accept her. So she just chooses to be with women in the meantime until the right man comes along and steals her heart away. That's when she'll let go of the whole lesbian lifestyle because she knows she's really not a lesbian. She really wants and needs a man. That's the dogma that is presented through the media. And when I say the media, that can be the news, that can be entertainment, it can be social media, or it can be your everyday life where you hear these messages. And the messages are absolutely false. Lesbians really are lesbians. And I repeat, I never said that lesbians have never experienced sleeping with men. There are some lesbians who have experienced sleeping with men, but that still doesn't negate the fact that she's still a lesbian. So what makes a woman a lesbian? Her sexual orientation. She knows that she desires to be with a woman inevitably. Her desires are actually multidimensional, and they are desires for women, not for men. There's a different type of emotional connection that a woman has with another woman that she does not have with a man. And women's emotions are connected to their sexuality. A woman who identifies as a lesbian doesn't initially or primarily seek out being with a man to fulfill her emotional, mental, physical, and sexual needs, because she doesn't desire a man in that way. Her desires are for a woman, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a lesbian. But because we live in a world that programs us that being attracted to the same sex is an abomination, that it's unnatural, well then yes, you may have known of a lesbian who has slept with a man before. But don't say that lesbians do sleep with men as if this is a continuous, natural, and desired state of mind for a lesbian, because it absolutely is not. And women who know how the world treats women when it comes to their sexuality, they're going to be as honest as they can about who they are, because they take their relationships seriously with other women. And if they are at a point where they realize I'm not really a lesbian, that's all right as well. Because as I mentioned earlier, as an example, I use Kiera, who is a YouTuber. She accepted the fact and admitted to the fact that I'm not a lesbian. I am bisexual. And that is completely fine. Because since we live in a world that likes to control how we view ourselves as women, sometimes it takes some time for a woman to discover herself and her sexuality because she's been oppressed. And if, for example, a woman is bisexual and she initially thought she was lesbian, her first love may have been a woman. Her first sexual experience, meaning she lost her virginity with a woman. So she probably thinks I'm a lesbian. But when she meets a man who gives her those same feelings and desires that she's had for a woman, then she is able to process, well, I don't think I am a lesbian. I must be bisexual. And there's women who admit to men that they are bisexual, but these men refuse to listen to these women, and they will say, no, you're a lesbian, because they just want to get a thrill out of knowing that they were with a lesbian, when really you're not with a lesbian, you're with a bisexual woman. Women who love women can be lesbian, they can be bisexual, they can be pansexual, demisexual, or asexual. There's various sexual orientations, and that's why there's an acronym of LGBTQIA+. because it represents the different sexual orientations. So respect all sexual orientations because they're all real and they all exist, and expect a woman's freedom to get to know herself and be herself. I am Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like and share the video. Get the message out there. Somebody needs to hear this message. And I appreciate all of my subscribers. And if you are new, this is your first time listening, you're welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're interested in receiving life coaching, email me. My email address is info@GiselleAWallace.com. And you can see my email address as well as other ways to contact me below this video in the description box. Be safe, be yourself, and have peace.